Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Good to see everybody here. Happy spring. You guys all psyched about daylight savings? I woke up this morning and it was like a little dark, and I was like, what is this? So happy to be here with you guys. Welcome to day one of the Pro Singer Career Accelerator Masterclass series. I'm Arden Kaywin. If you don't know who I am your trusted guide, your expert host for this little journey that we're going to take to be able to get you from good to great, from talent to success. So that's what we're doing here today. And while we're waiting, I still see we have some more people who are joining. While we're waiting for everyone to join, I'm going to launch a little getting to know you poll. So I know some of you have had awesome connect calls with Amy. Let's hear it for Amy. Woo woo. And here, let me launch this. So this is really helps us get to know what you guys are, and you'll see it'll pop up on your Zoom screen. What you guys are interested in, what you're struggling with, what your goals are, where you're at, where you want to go, so that we can really tailor this next week to your specific needs, your specific goals, targets, things that inspire you, things that you want to know, things that you need. So please go ahead and fill out the poll as others are coming in to join us. And also, if you're joining us, please, I'm so curious, where in the country are you guys? Tell me in the chat. Where are you? So I split time between California and Colorado. So I happen to be in Colorado right now, and it is a gorgeous day. Diane, hi, Diane. Diane's here. Diane is one of our intensive program grads. Hello. I see we have a lot. I see you have other grads here. Maria's here. Hey, Maria. I see Warren is here. Oh my gosh. You guys, these guys, they know what you're in for, and they know the juice and the gold that you're going to get in the next 7 days, and they're coming back for more. So I love it. Good to see you guys. Let's see, Tatiana. Hi, Tatiana's in LA. Juliana's in New York City. I'm going there with my daughter in a couple of weeks for spring break. We're going to see a bunch of shows. We're going to see Six, and we're going to see Little Shop of Horrors. What else are we seeing? I forget right now. So welcome, you guys. If you're just joining us, I launched a little getting to know you poll. So please it should take you 2 seconds to just fill in the blank of multiple choice to help us get to know you a little bit better. And also, if you're just joining us, tell me in the chat where you are, where you're from. You can't submit the form, Marie. I don't know. Ash, maybe see if there's anything that we need. I'm seeing submissions though, for sure. So I don't know, Maria, it could be just maybe the device you're on or the Zoom that you're on. Eno's in DC. Yes, I have family in DC too. Love it. Where are you guys from? Let me know. Let's connect. I don't want to just like dive into like, okay, here's what you have to do. Here's what because we're going to be together for a week. So I want to get to know you guys. So tell me where you're from. Aurora, Colorado. Very nice. Let's see, Jackson, Boston. I love me some Beantown. Rashida's in Jersey. Erie, Pennsylvania. Got some East Coasters here. Very nice. All right, and if you're just joining us, we have a little getting to know you poll as people are joining. I just want to make sure that everybody knows what we're here for. So this is your Pro Singer Career Accelerator Masterclass series. And I want you guys to buckle up, because over the next 7 days, I am going to train you on the major pillars that you need to bridge the gap between exceptional talent and exceptional success. We are talking about teaching you how to tap into that last percent of your potential to unleash the truth of your talent and give you the kind of unforgettable performances that break through to those elite opportunities and keep them coming. So let's get to work. If you didn't get a chance to fill out the poll, that's okay. We're going to launch it again tomorrow. So if you didn't get a chance to fill it out, not to worry. Thank you to those of you who did. Appreciate it. And I want to dive in because I want to be able to start you off strong so that you understand that it doesn't matter what genre you sing. It doesn't matter whether you sing opera, pop, musical theater, jazz, R&B, country, does not matter. Whatever genre you sing, you've gotten this far in your singing career because you've already got those foundations that have taken you 80% of the way, 90% of the way. You know you have talent, you know you have drive, but there's just something that is preventing you from tapping into that undeniability that's getting you those elite opportunities at the next level that you really want. And so the next 7 days is about teaching you how to access that last bit of maximum potential in your voice, in your energy, in your technique, in your artistry, in your impact. We're going to talk a lot about impact over the next few days so that you stand out from the competition and you can go out there and achieve those big opportunities and big paychecks that you really want in 2025. And guys, we're only a few months into 2025, and I know that a lot of you here have been struggling and have been really frustrated because you don't see the results and you're not seeing the results of all of the hustle that you're putting in, all the training you're putting in, the practicing, the auditioning, all the things that you're doing, and you're not seeing the results that you want in your singing career, despite everything that you're doing. And so if you don't want 2025 to look exactly like 2024 with all the same frustrations so that you don't just replay the same disappointments and same frustrations, then now is not the time to coast. So first of all, celebrating each and every one of you here for showing up to the change that you want. You guys know how many people registered for this masterclass? We had 624 people register for this masterclass. Look at how many people are actually here. 65. 10% of you are the ones who are planting your flag and claiming that you are done walking through this career and this journey with your voice the old way. 624 people registered, and you are the ones, and I'm celebrating you for this, for showing up accountable to the dreams that you have. And I pat myself on back, you guys. Like, seriously, this is not a small thing to show up to the dreams that you have in a new and different way. So I celebrate you all for doing that, because how you show up, what you activate, and how you up level in the next 2-3 months, it has a direct effect on the results that you will create in 2025. So let's get moving. A little bit of housekeeping first. So this is day 1, session 1. And so our sessions each day and trainings, they build upon each other. So if you come late or you have to leave early, if you have to miss a session this week, watch the replay as soon as possible. So after we wrap here each day, we will be sending you an email with the link to where you can watch and download the replay. So if you had to miss or something came up, watch the replay that night. Don't put it off, because what we're going to be doing tomorrow is going to be building on that. And I want you guys to have results by the end of this. So show up to that accountability. So the replay links are going to be emailed to you. And also, just so you know, the replay links, they disappear at the end of the workshop, meaning Sunday night, replays come down. So stay accountable to it, okay? Hang on, you guys. I was hearing my phone buzzing, and I just want to make sure it's not my daughter. No, it's not. Okay. Okay. Second thing is we have a masterclass workbook. It was in all of our emails leading up to this, but if you did not download your masterclass workbook, then my assistant Ashley is going to put the link in the chat so that you can go grab it and download it now and use it to take notes. And so all of the practice content that I'm going to be referring to, all of the MP3s for the vocal exercises I'm going to be giving you, all of the mindset work and explorations that we're going to be doing, and that homework that's associated with that, all of that is in your masterclass workbook. So that link that Ash just put in the chat, if you haven't downloaded that yet, do it now so you have it. From time to time, I will be asking for guinea pigs, volunteers who want to sing and coach on a particular tool that I'm giving you. And so for that, we will be using the raise hand function. It is at the bottom of your Zoom screen, a little heart that says reactions. If you tap that or click that, you will see raise hand, and that's how we will be doing anybody who would like to volunteer when I do ask for that. But speaking to that, for those who share and those who volunteer and those who sing, this is a safe space. It is one of the highest and most important values of this tribe and of my studio is that we encourage vulnerability and bravery. And I have a zero tolerance policy for any meanness, criticism, throwing shade, judgment in the chat. So please uphold this value. And if we see stuff in the chat that is not upholding this value, we will remove you from the Zoom. Luckily, we've never had to do that, but I'm putting it out there to make it your priority to uphold this value of our community too. Okay, let's get down to business. So I want to talk about impact. And I want to talk about what I've noticed is that what we call an impact gap. So what is an impact gap? An impact gap looks like this. I'll give you a couple examples. I made a record. I made an EP. I released these songs on, commercially, Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, made video on YouTube. And like, I just felt like it was my best work. Like I put everything into this and I only got like a couple thousand plays. That's an impact gap, meaning the impact that you thought that you made in that recording based on how it felt when you were doing it is not actually the same as what the audience received. Another example, I went in and I do the audition and man, was I cooking. Like I was on fire. I mean, I brought it. I just was like, oh my God, I was so in it. And that happens over and over again and over and over again. You don't even get in the callback. Putting yourself out there for gigs and opportunities, pitching for gigs, and you're putting yourself, you're sending, submitting for everything, and you're not getting it, despite the fact that you feel like your performances are so inspired and they feel great when you're doing them, okay? That's an impact gap. When the impact that you are actually making in those performances, recordings, auditions is not actually commensurate, doesn't match with how you felt when you were actually doing it. And the problem with the impact gap is that it stops you from breaking through the competition when you really need to keep going because you start to make it mean things about you at the end of the day. Or you start to make it mean things about your circumstance. Oh, the industry is just too corrupt. Oh, they don't like people who look like me. Oh, blah, 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 excuse. When really, you have one job as a singer and performer, especially if you are doing this professionally. And that is to make an impact on your audience. And if you're doing it professionally, the bigger the impact, the bigger the income. That's it. So if you are not getting booked, getting paid, getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of plays on your recordings, you have an impact gap. You know it's in there. You felt it. You know that there's this potential that you're just, sometimes you reach it and you tap it and you feel like you do it, but it's just not what's happening all the time or enough or at a high enough level for you to be able to make the kind of impact on the listener, the audience, the auditioner, to be able to stand out from the competition to land those things, okay? And so today, I want to help you understand how this impact gap is affecting you, why you're not booking the elite gigs you want consistently, despite all of your vocal training, despite all of your hustle, and the first big breakthrough that you get to understand in order to fix it. And that is the number one thing that traditional training has never taught you, okay? Once you understand that, and we're going to talk about it today, nothing else that I teach you guys this week will matter at all without first understanding and getting a deeper level of knowledge around the number one thing that traditional training has never taught you, and that is the mind-body connection in singing. This is the number one breakthrough that facilitates the impact that you want, your ability to get it, and everything else that you want that comes with that. So let's dive in. So make sure you have your Masterclass workbook handy to take notes, follow along. So I have noticed over 25 years of saving singers' careers, saving singers' voices, coaching all kinds of singers, and being a professional singer and having been successful myself, is that a majority of you here likely fall into one of two categories. You are either already a professional singer, and for our purposes, that means you are already being paid to sing, paid for your recordings, or paid to perform, but the really elite gigs and the big paychecks are still going to some other singer. And so you've hit a ceiling, you've plateaued, and you don't know what more you can do to break through to that elite level in your career. So show of hands in the chat, who feels like that? And perhaps in your connect calls with Amy, you've already kind of identified, but who feels like I am doing all the things and I am getting paid whatever, but the level that I want is just not yet here for me. And by the way, you guys, like this is where we get to get like super honest and super vulnerable, because if we cannot have awareness around where we are and what's coming up for us, then how can we possibly change it, right? So yeah. And by the way, like some of you, I know you've had conversations with Amy, and like, if you're wondering who Amy is, by the way, if I keep referencing Amy, Amy is our studio concierge. Amy is somebody who works with our team to really help you guys identify the big issues that are going on and what you can start to do to fix them. So some of you I know have had conversations with her. And so Amy, I don't know if there's people who are resonating in the chat and you haven't had a conversation with them, you guys get on the DM right now and get that conversation booked, because she's going to really help you to get the first couple of things in terms of your training and what we can even jumpstart you now throughout this workshop to really know what we're going to focus on. Okay. Sorry, guys. The way my screen looked just changed and that threw me. Okay. All right. Now I can see you guys. Okay. So either you're already a professional singer, or you're not a professional singer yet, but you are a serious singer who is at that point in your singing journey, in your singing career, where given the amount of time and money and energy you have spent on expert vocal training and the amount of recording, auditioning, performing, practicing, and putting yourself out there that you're doing every day, you should be getting paid. But right now, you're putting yourself out there and just not seeing the results in the form of that career that you want. So whichever bucket you fall into, we are here to break you through to the next level of what you want. Like I said, you have gotten this far in your singing journey because you've already got the talent, you've already got foundations, you've already gotten 70, 80% of the way. And so the next 7 days is about teaching you how to access that last 30, 20, 10% of your potential so that you stand out from the competition, you bridge that impact gap, and you can go out there and land those big opportunities that you really want. So first, I want you to get that having an elite singing career is not really about talent. At the level that you guys are playing at and that you want to play at, everyone's got talent. So what separates the superstars from just the badass singers, right? What separates the men from the boys? It's all about energy. Energy. How you use your energy. So what do I mean by that? Well, your audience is responding to your energy, not just your singing. But the audience is not the only thing that responds to your energy. Your voice is also responding to your energy as well, because the way you use your energy affects your voice. So this, your larynx, this is not your instrument, okay? Your whole body, this is your instrument, your entire body, not just your larynx and your vocal cords. Your whole body is your instrument. And just like a tuba player or a violin player makes sure that their instrument is in good working order, we need to make sure that our instrument, our whole body, is set up to make the biggest impact as efficiently as possible. Because your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. And this is concept number 1 today. So if you're following along in your masterclass workbook, this is the first concept. Your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. Write it down. Your body, you guys, it is built to respond to your brain in everything, everything. Your body is only ever responding to your brain all day, every day. And your brain is managing and directing the functions in your body, your heart rate, your digestion, basic functions, as well as responding to your environment, your circumstance, making meaning out of it, telling you how to feel about it, which causes a physical reaction in your body. So when you have a thought or a feeling, it lives in your body. And we physicalize our thoughts and our feelings. It's just part of being human. It's what we do. It's normal. And so if you have a thought that really excites you, you get butterflies in your stomach. That's your body's physical response to that thought that gets you all jazzed up. If we have a thought that really scares us, we go into fight or flight. That's the human response to fear that humans have had since the beginning of time, right? Like if you think back to caveman times, the bear walks into the cave, the caveman goes into his fear reaction, which will either be brace himself to fight the bear or flee, run away from the bear. Both are physical reactions to the body, to the circumstance and the fear that that circumstance created. And so your brain and your body are interfacing like this all day long, every day, in ways that you are present to, in ways that you are not. So let's just say you're a singer and you are just the teенsiest bit insecure about a certain aspect of your voice. For example, let's say you're a little insecure about your high voice, or you're a little insecure about your mix, or maybe you're a little insecure about making it to the ends of phrases, right? You know, so if we take the example of the high notes, for example, like you've got them, you can do it, but there was always that little bit of doubt that lingers around those high notes, just because it's never really been the easiest part of your voice. And because of that, now you're in a big audition or something that really counts, and that anxiety starts to creep in about an upcoming high note. Anybody get anxiety when it's time for the high note? Hit me in the chat. Who gets anxiety when it's time for high notes? Let me know. Come on. Come on, out yourself. Who's like, yeah, I know I can do it, but I get a little anxiety around it. Yup, I see you. Nabraja, Vivi, Hannah, Shoshana. Yeah, okay. So I feel you, okay? Exactly. But guess what? When you get that anxiety, right? Your body is going to physically react to that fear, to that anxiety. And so here's what happens. You have that, what we call that lizard part of your brain, the amygdala part of your brain. And it's going, danger. Okay, because it doesn't want to fail, right? It literally, in that moment, you guys, that high note that's coming, your body in that moment does not know the difference between the bear that has come into the cave to eat you and failing at that high note. Why? Because you want that part. You want your recording to do well. You don't want to be embarrassed. You don't want to feel less than. You don't want to have to tuck tail and go back to your corporate job because you couldn't make it as a singer and feel that failure, right? We don't want to feel that. So in that moment, your body is literally reacting to failing at this thing that you want more than anything else in the world, the thing that you love, the dream that you have. Your body is reacting to losing that dream and failing at that dream in the exact same way as literally feeling like you're going to be eaten by the bear. That is what, like lizard brain, when you go into fight or flight, that is what happens. And that high note is still coming up. And your what we call monkey mind, your ego mind is like, well, we can't let that happen. So we're going to go into the fear reaction, which is either, if your reaction is to fight, right? Fight the bear, right? I'm going to fight that high note. God darn it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make, force, do, push, manipulate, control. On that high note, I'm going to kill that high note. How many of you find yourself like going into that? You go into fight, right? And guess what happens? All of that make, force, do, push, manipulate, control actually causes you to make the bad sound that you were scared of, because now all of that has sabotaged the technique that you otherwise know. And now you've botched the high note or not made it to the end of the phrase or whatever it is that you were worried about. Now you've created that. And what's worse is now you have evidence that you're not good enough. And that feeds back in to the next high note you go to sing, or the next audition, or the next phrase. And now you're even more in your fight or flight because now you have evidence and you don't want that to perpetuate. So now you go even more into your fight and you botch the note even more. And now you have even more evidence that you're not good enough in it. It's just a negative feedback loop. So we call the negative feedback loop of fear. And it's the same thing if your reaction is to flee. Instead of fighting the note, you take your hands off the wheel, you back off, you flee, you run away, and you run away from the technique that you otherwise know. And now the same thing, you've created the same thing. You've created the bad sound that you were terrified of in the first place, and the same cycle gets perpetuated. This is the negative feedback loop of fear. And you are always, guys, get this, you're always reacting to your thoughts and your feelings, whether you realize it or not. It's just part of being human. All people have physical reactions to our thoughts and our feelings. And one of those physical reactions is tension. Tension is one of the ways that our body girds itself, tries to protect itself from difficult or uncomfortable thoughts or feelings. Whatever the cause, whatever the feeling, it physically lives in our body. But as singers, it means that the physical reactions we have to our thoughts and feelings also live in our instrument. So for someone who's not a singer, Joe Schmo sitting at his computer doing his data processing job while physicalizing his thoughts and his feelings may not be comfortable, it's not going to stop him from doing his job. But for a professional singer whose body is her instrument, those physical reactions and those tensions have a dramatic effect on you being able to do your job and do it at the most elite level. Because the physical reactions to your thoughts and feelings affects the energy, there's that word again, affects the energy that moves or doesn't move through your body and through your instrument. So sound is a form of energy. You know this, like light, like heat, right? And energy cannot be created or destroyed. You guys remember that from high school physics? It's the law of entropy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, it just changes forms, okay? And so sound is a form of energy. And you have one job, remember? What's your one job as a singer? Tell me in the chat, who's paying attention? What's your one job as a singer? Come on, guys. What's your job? Who was listening? To make, yes, Julia, Jeffrey, for the win, Maria, yes, to make an impact on your audience. That's your job. And if you are going to be a successful professional singer at an elite level, that impact has to be massive. So you stand out from the competition and they keep coming back for more. But the only way that kind of massive impact happens is when you are the most open channel for energy in the form of sound to move through you and to your audience. There cannot be any blocks. So if you're not breaking through to the level of opportunity and the level of singing career that you want, you are not making the impact that you need. And that is because there are blocks in the energetic exchange between you and the listener, blocks that you don't realize. See, energy and vibrations, they need to flow freely through the body for optimum singing technique and sound and impact. And our body's physical reactions to uncomfortable thoughts and feelings, whether it's conscious or subconscious, it causes blocks. And those blocks live in the body in the form of tensions that block the free flow of energy and sound from happening and block your impact. So what's going on in your mind, both conscious and subconscious, matters because it affects how your energy lives and moves through your body. It has a huge effect on your ability to tap into the fullest potential of your body, of your voice, to use your technique and succeed in the ways that you want with your singing. So this brings me to the second concept for today. If you're following in your Masterclass workbook, this is concept number 2 for today. Energy is the link between mind and body. It is what creates the mind-body connection. And if the body cannot do what the brain is sabotaging, then in order to stop the sabotage so that mind and body are working together when you sing, creating the biggest impact, then you've got to understand and align the energy that's been creating the sabotage. So let me explain what I mean and how this works. The energy that most pro singers and serious singers like you are in when you sing, regardless of if it's an audition, a performance, a recording, or even for some of you just practicing on your own, usually the energy that you're in is coming from one underlying subconscious need. And that is the need to prove. The need to prove you're good enough, that you belong on that stage, to prove your talent, to prove you belong there, that you're worthy, that you're talented, that you're lovable. Guys, none of us wants to admit it, yet this is where the majority of us are operating from. So let's be real here. First of all, does anybody relate? Show of hands in the chat, say me in the chat, and get real honest with yourself here. Who relates? When you get on that stage, it's like, I got to be good enough. I got to show this. I got to be lovable. I got to be talented. It's like proving your worth on that stage. Yeah, I see you guys relating. Donna, Alexandra, Kim, yes, Jeffrey, Tina. This is a real experience for so many pro singers who have not hit that level of success yet. And most of the time, guys, it's not conscious, but it's the subconscious not enough thinking and the energy that's driving the bus, especially if you've been at this for a while, especially if you've been up for big opportunities that you got and then they fell through, or you lost them to another singer, or you get into the final callbacks, or you have that record label meeting, but then they go with somebody else. It's that experience that I liken to like always the bridesmaid, never the bride type thing. Do you guys have this experience? Like, who feels that like it's always almost me? That like I make the record and I'll get 20,000 plays and that's it. Or like I have the label meeting, but then the A&R guy leaves and I didn't stand out from the competition so that the label had liked me and I could stay on, and now I lost the record deal. Or, right, like this is so frustrating and can be traumatic even. That always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And there are real feelings here. There's even can be real trauma there. Let's not sugarcoat it. To be working as hard as many of you are working, and to have put so much of yourself, your blood, sweat, and tears into making this career happen, this dream happen, and to be this close in this mix only to keep getting passed over, it can be traumatic. We feel then like we're not enough, and we don't want to feel that. So you respond to that underlying subconscious need to feel like you're enough, to prove that you're enough in either one of two ways. The first way is with a very outwardly focused energy. It's very much this energy of like, look at me, listen to me. Like I mean, if you guys watch the competition shows, if you watch Idol or Voice, whatever, they're trying so hard. And it's always like, nah, nah. And the audience, like it's uncomfortable to watch. Have you guys have seen these people, right? And like, arguably they have a good voice, but it's all just like this very like outwardly like, energy. And the audience doesn't like it. Like the audience can smell that need to prove a mile away. And they don't know that's why they don't like it. They can't put their finger on it, but they know it's uncomfortable to watch. And for those singers who are doing that, it totally sabotages their technique and their impact because it makes them push. They push because they've got something to prove, and gosh darn it, they're going to give it to you because they don't want to fail. So they just overdo and push and they blow everything out, and it ends up sabotaging their technique, sabotaging their impact, not being their best performance, not to mention that the audience now feels completely accosted by their energy. It's like you want to tell them to just like, oh my God, chill. Stop trying so hard. Like you have a beautiful voice, just stop. And so now they've sabotaged their connection with their audience. So that's one way that this need to prove manifests, with all this outwardly focused energy. Or the second way that we respond to the need to prove is by going in the other direction. pulling back our energy, receding, shrinking. And it sounds counterintuitive, I know, but here's what happens. So, like, we finally got this big opportunity to sing, to perform, to prove our gifts to ourselves, to others, and show what we can do. By the way, what we've done a million times on our own, in our own practice by ourselves, right? But now the stakes are high. And the pressure to prove our worthiness can be so overwhelming for some people that it becomes too much. And we shrink away from it in that moment. And when that happens, we back away from our technique. We stop trusting it. We recede from that energy, and then we lose the efficiency in our body. So then we can't access 100% of the potential of our sound, of our performance, and it suffers. Not to mention the fact that the audience feels that wall go up when you shrink back into yourself. They feel it. Like, we've all watched performers, and you can just see, like, they are not there. There's no connection. Like, they're singing, but what their energy is broadcasting is contraction. They're singing, but what you're getting from them is, don't look at me. Whether they mean to or not, they've gone into the bunker. And now we've lost impact. And what did we say? What is your number one job to make it at an elite level as a pro singer? Impact. Right. So the need to prove is an example of what I call stinking thinking. Stinking thinking. The ways in which our mind sabotages our instrument and our impact. And there is no way that you can be bulletproof to bring massive impact with stinking thinking going on, because it affects your energy, there's that word again, in either of these two ways. It either sabotages your sound, your energy, your technique because of how your body is physically responding to that, or it sabotages your ability to connect with your audience. And without both of those things in place, there is no way that your voice and your performance will make maximum impact. No way. And without the ability to make maximum impact reliably and at a high level, you will not have the success as a singer at the level that you want. And now you feel insecure. You feel less than. And then you do not act on your own behalf in ways that are as powerful as you otherwise would, and to go after opportunities. You don't put yourself out there in ways that would really serve these higher level goals. And so you stay stagnant. So what do we do about it? What do we do about it? First, we have got to change the thinking, because when we change the thinking, we change the singing. That is where all the breakthroughs that you want in your voice, in your technique, and in your career live. And that is concept number 3 for today. Changing thinking equals changing singing. Write it down. This is the backbone of everything that you are going to learn with us over this next week. Because guys, I could give you the best technique in the world. And trust me, I've got some incredible technique. We're going to get into that over the next few days. It is super important. You are going to hear things and learn things that nobody has ever taught you, but none of that will matter. None of it will matter if you do not get these concepts first. Why? Because, say it with me, your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. And so if we're going to change the singing, we've got to change the thinking first, because changing thinking equals changing singing. Do you guys ever notice that you always sing better when you're like alone in the car or alone in the shower? Who has like given Grammy award-winning performances in your car, in your shower, where nobody's watching? Tell me in the chat. Yep, I see you. I feel you. Guys, all my Grammy award-winning performances have been in the shower, every single one. Any idea why that is? Why is that? Why are all your best performances always in the shower or in the car? Anybody know? Tell me in the chat. Who knows? Yes, Vivian for the win, Jeffrey for the win, Hannah for the win. Exactly. Because in those instances, you've got nothing to prove. There's nothing at stake. How you sing in those moments is not a reflection of your worth. There's no success or failure there. You're just trusting your instrument, trusting your technique. And because in that private moment, you trust because you are enough for yourself. You have nothing to prove. Your thinking is making meaning out of where you are and creating circumstances in your body that allow you to use your instrument and your technique for you instead of sabotaging them against you. And so you tap into your potential. And your thinking gives a different meaning to other circumstances, like those big auditions, big performance opportunities, whether you realize it or not, that those create a different outcome in your body because your thinking was different. And that sabotages your impact, which is why you're not breaking through in those instances. So keeping your instrument in optimum shape to access 100% of your potential for the biggest possible impact means understanding and addressing the parts of your mind that your mindset plays in creating all of that in the first place. And then being very intentional about training your mind. Why? Because, say it with me again, your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. And this is also why so many of you experience loads of tension when you sing. So how many of you, tell me in the chat, how many of you suffer from a lot of tension when you sing, or even a lot of vocal fatigue when you sing? Tell me in the chat. Yeah. And you guys, vocal fatigue is most often a byproduct of tension. Yeah. No, I see you. Yes, Kathy, Nadia, Vivian. Yeah. So understanding, guys, that tension in a singer is caused by two main things. Improper breath support is one, and it's a big one. And tomorrow, when we get into game-changing high-level technique innovations, we're going to get into some really high-level breath support tools. So be here tomorrow. But you guys think you've been taught support before? I guarantee you that even with the tons of training that so many of you have had, there are things that you will hear tomorrow that you have not heard before. So super psyched to show you that. So don't miss tomorrow. But back to my point. I could give you the best training on breath support in the world, and it won't matter, and your body won't do it if your body is holding tension to try to protect you and keep you safe. And so here's what that looks like. So actually, I would love to have a volunteer. So before you raise your hand, of you guys, who here performs a lot and experiences a lot of physical tension, even vocal fatigue during performances or gigs or rehearsals or both? So use the raise hand function. Who performs a lot and experiences a lot of tension when you perform? Okay, I see Hannah. Okay, so Hannah, go ahead and come on camera. Hello, nice to meet you. And go ahead and unmute. Hi.
Oh,
Okay, so first of all, tell me where you experience tension. Where do you experience it?
oh my gosh, everywhere.
Okay.
Um, my jaw is a lot of it. My shoulders, my neck, my abdomen.
Okay. Yeah. And when do you experience it? Is it all the time? Is it only in performances? Is it in rehearsals? Is it in high notes and long phrases? When do you experience that?
It's usually when I'm performing and I start getting in my own head about things. Like especially if there's like a note coming up that I really, sometimes goes well and sometimes doesn't, or if I have a thought of like, I bet these people are judging me, or like I did a performance the other day where it occurred to me halfway through the song that the people watching were probably also musical theater people. And I was like, oh no, they're going to think I suck.
Imposter syndrome, good old imposter syndrome. So as if it wasn't enough, let's just bring that into the mix too, right? Okay. And so tell me where you're at in your singing career, in your singing journey right now.
I studied it all growing up and went to college for it and conservatory for it, taken a lot of lessons. I went out to New York for a while to try to do like Broadway and then realized maybe that's not what I want. So now I am a princess and a mermaid at kids' birthday parties. So that's mainly the performing that I do. So I am getting paid to perform. So that's exciting. I'm not sure what all I want to do with my singing career,
Okay.
but I'm always working on it.
Okay. So if you don't mind me asking and you don't mind getting super vulnerable with the group, and you guys remember this is the safe space, right? I'm going to ask when you said, I did, how many years did you do in New York?
I was there for like 9 years. I wasn't trying for Broadway the whole time, but a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. So doing that for a while. And then you're like, I'm not so sure it's what I want. Is that if you had been able to land equity gigs, get into a regular show, get management, get the ball rolling, you know what I'm saying? Like, would you still think I'm not so sure that's what I want? Or is that the self-protection, as it were, to kind of say, well, it wasn't happening, so I'm just going to say that maybe it's not what I want because I've done that. Trust me, I've done that a lot, right? It wasn't what you wanted, but did you go a different direction because you weren't getting the results that you wanted?
It was kind of a combination. I finally was like, you know what? I don't want to give up what I would have to give up in order to maybe get this someday. Like, I don't want to give up years of my life sitting in audition rooms, waiting to maybe get called and maybe not be seen that day and maybe get a call back, maybe book a gig, and then the show closes a week later. I think if I I think if someone were like, "Hey, do you want to do your dream role tomorrow on Broadway?" I'd be like, "Yeah, okay." Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, so it's kind of a combination of both.
I hear it. I hear you. I absolutely. And you are not the first singer who has said that to me. And, but again, if we come back to the idea of impact, so if I can so lovingly mirror this back to you, Hannah, which is that your experience of, I'm not so sure that I want this, has been colored, tinged by the fact that you were putting yourself out there a lot and not getting results.
Mhm.
And had you been able, because that's a very different experience than other singers that, we know and that I know, and people I'm sure who you came up with who, they're getting gigs, they're getting shows. They're like, I went to see Christopher Jackson. You guys know who Christopher Jackson is? He played George Washington in the original cast of Hamilton. And so we're connected by some mutual friends. And so I went to see his show 2 nights ago. And he was telling the story about how he has done, so he's 20 years, since his very first show on Broadway, and he's done 11 shows. So you do the math. That's basically a show every other year. And most of them run for a while, right? And so that's a very different experience because whether he was taught that, whether he had it innately, whatever, his level of impact gave him a different belief around what was possible for him versus the level of impact that you were taught. And by the way, if you came through traditional training, you weren't taught this, and it's not your fault. You've been, no, truly, I came through the same system. You've been a victim of a system of training that has been failing singers for decades. They do not teach you how to access impact. They do not teach you, like you said, I'm in my head so much. They do not teach you how to get out of your own way. So play this out for me for a second. You said I get in my head in those auditions because I'm thinking like, what are they thinking of me? Like, tell me, what's the story that's playing in your mind when you're, in the moment that counts in those situations?
Well, the person before me was so good. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I picked the wrong song. Wow, that note didn't go out really well. I don't think I'm acting this very well. Stop thinking. Stop thinking so hard. Just sing. Oh, I can't. Wait, I love singing. Why am I doing this? Oh, it's over. Okay. Like,
Okay, first of all, how many of you have had that, if not very similar chatter in the brain when you're in an audition or when it counts, right? Yeah, right? Okay, I feel you. Okay, so now play this out for me. If I don't, what is it, get this right, or if I don't do this well, so let's take the one example because you gave a lot. Your monkey mind is very active. You guys, I call it the monkey mind because if it's not trained, it will take shit and it will smear it all over the walls of your brain. Okay, and that's very astute about what your mind has been doing. But we all understand. We've all been there, right? So fill in the blank. If I don't what, do it well, get it right, deliver, what is it? If I don't what, then what will happen right now in that moment? So if I don't get the high note, then
If
if I can't,
I don't do well on this audition, I am humiliating myself. They're going to remember how bad I was, and I really just have to stop trying because this is worse than not trying.
okay, so if I do not get this one note right and show up to this the way that I think I should or could, then I will humiliate myself. And if I humiliate myself, then what? Then I should just not do this anymore.
Yeah, then I've proven to myself that I never was good enough and I never will be.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm not good enough, then what does that mean about me? What is your mind making that mean?
That I was never meant to do this and I'm never going to do this, and I am silly for thinking that maybe I could.
Okay. And so then, like you said, then I'm just gonna hang up my cleats. I'm just not gonna do it. But then what does your mind make that mean? Well, if I give up on my dream, then what happens? Am I gonna have to tuck tail and go back to a corporate job? Am I gonna have to go back to my family over Thanksgiving who was like, I told you so. Who did you think you are trying to think that you could go be a performer? I don't know. What is it in your mind? What does your mind make that mean?
Then it's I'm a failure and I'm a quitter. And maybe if I had just tried longer, like all those stories you hear about the person who was gonna move away from LA and they did one more audition and then they finally got it. And you're like, how many auditions is enough auditions to be at that one audition where you get it? It's never gonna happen. But
Right.
I'm
So now your
quitting
mind
before
is
it could
making
happen.
so now it's now again the monkey's shitting all over you. Sorry guys, my language. But now it's like, oh, make all the make wrong and make bad and blame and shame. Okay. And so you guys, the reason that I'm playing this out with Hannah, and by the way, Hannah, thank you so much for being so real and so vulnerable. Like when you look at the chat, everybody's like, yeah, me too, me too. But the reason that Hannah has tension, Hannah, the reason that you are experiencing tension all over in your body is because your body is literally trying to control this note, control this phrase, control this audition so that you don't fail. Because in this moment, failing at this particular high note or this particular long phrase or not or failing at being able to get your mind in control, you were even beating yourself up over that, which that's definitely right. Failing at all these things actually means that you are unworthy, that you are not good enough, that you are a failure. And so it's this dominoes that fall, right? Which is that I'm going to humiliate myself. So then I need to give up. But if I give up, it means that I'm a quitter and that I'm bad because of that. You can't win, Hannah. You're making yourself bad. 6 ways from Sunday, right? And we can laugh about it, but at the end of the day, we don't want to feel that failure. You don't want to have to hang up your cleats. I know you didn't go to school and spend all that time and energy and hustle and money to be a princess at kids' parties. I've hired princesses at kids' parties. I love what you do. And I also know that that's not what your dream is. And in the moment, in those auditions, it's the dominoes falling. And you don't want to have to be here doing kids' parties for the rest of your life. I know. You may not know exactly what the rest of the career looks like, right? But it's like, this is not why you got into this. It's okay. And so it's like that fear of failing at the gift that we have, of the thing that we love, of the thing that we want. We don't want to feel that. And so the reason why you have all that tension is because your ego mind doesn't want to feel that failure. It doesn't want to experience it. And so now your body's going to try to do everything possible to control that outcome so that you don't fail and that you don't end up having to feel like you're a quitter, you're bad, you're less than, you're all the things that your subconscious mind has been telling you. And that's what creates the overwhelming amount of tension that you experience when you sing. And I guarantee you it has been what has been cutting you off from your impact this whole time, going back to when you were auditioning in New York, which is why you weren't breaking through to those higher level opportunities that you wanted. And no amount, guys. And by the way, thank you, Hannah, for being so honest. I really do want to, like, because as you could see by everyone in the chat, you're not the only one in this experience. And this is exactly what we're here to change. And so, guys, no amount of cutting edge technique that I give you or that anybody gives you, and we work our singers hardcore in technique, it's important, but no amount of cutting edge technique will help. You will still have tension unless the root of that tension is addressed in the moment of singing. Do you guys ever feel like you intellectually understand what your voice teacher is telling you? Like you fully get intellectually what they're asking you to do, and yet your body in the moment of singing, your body's like, nope, nope, not gonna do it, right? Guys, it's because technique is not optimized in a vacuum. You've got to get present to the thinking going on behind the singing to tap into that fullest potential, reliably stand out from the competition, and make the kind of impact with your singing that gets you the big opportunities you really want, so that, like in Hannah's case, you don't feel so beat down. I get why you left New York. I get it. It is not a sensation or an emotion that we want to live in, is constantly feeling beat down because we're doing everything that we know how to do and it is not moving the needle. So to that end, in order for you to get the best possible results from the techniques that I'm going to teach you this week, and so that you can embody them more quickly and more fully, so that you get the breakthroughs that you came here for, I'm giving you two things. And by the way, thank you, Hannah. You can go off camera now. I'm giving you two things that I want you to do tonight to start setting the foundation for your mindset. So the first is a guided meditation for present moment body awareness. So cultivating present moment awareness, guys, it is the first and the most important step for creating a strong mind and body connection for singing. Any of you meditated before? Tell me in the chat. Say me if you've meditated before. Anybody? Anybody have a daily practice of meditation? Yeah, some? Okay, good. Anybody completely new to meditation? Put new in the chat. Anybody never meditated before? Totally new? Yeah, Navraja? Cool. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Hannah, not a ton. Okay, cool. Okay, so if you don't have to have any experience with meditation before. These are guided meditations, which means that it's an MP3. It's about 20 minutes. You put your earbuds in and you just find a comfortable place to sit where your back and your body is supported. I don't recommend lying down for these meditations unless you have some physical limitation, which makes it difficult for you to sit for about 20 minutes at a time. So find a comfortable chair or a cushion, someplace where you can sit. And the meditation that I'm going to give you, you're going to do this meditation today after we wrap. And you're going to do it each day of this workshop for the next 7 days. And guys, there is no right way or wrong way to experience a meditation. You may find that your mind wanders to your to-do list, to a conversation you just had, some other distraction. You may even realize that like you've completely missed what the guide is saying. And all of a sudden you like come back into the present moment from wherever spin your mind was taking you to. And he's, and he or she, I forget who's guiding this. No, it's she, is on a completely different sentence. And you're like, whoa, where to go? You know, this is normal, especially if you have never meditated before. And so when this happens, what I like to do, and I'm going to give this to you, is just label it thinking and bring your awareness back to the guide's voice. So you'll be going along and you'll notice you're in your to-do list and it's like, oh, thinking. Bring my mind back to the moment of my body and the guide's voice. And then a minute later, I'll notice that I'm replaying the fight that I had with my daughter. Oh, thinking, and bring myself back to the voice. Because you guys, the mind, it has an agenda that keeps you from being present. The mind is usually very busy in one of two places. It's either shaming you about the past, the audition that didn't go well, the fight you had with your boyfriend, the, whatever the thing was from 25 years ago, right? Trust me, mind will go there, shaming you about the past, or tripping out over the future. How's the next high note going to go? Am I going to be able to make rent? Am I ever going to be able to quit my day job? All the things, tripping out of the future. Mind is rarely in the present moment with you. But the body, guys, your body is always in the present moment. So when we teach the mind how to be present in the moment with the body, now we're setting up a very efficient mind-body foundation for your singing. Now we're setting up that open energetic channel for impact. So your mind is now reacting to the present moment of your body instead of your body reacting to all the crap going on in your mind, which is what Hannah was talking about, the tensions, all the things that kick us out. So this guided meditation is designed to help you get present in your body and help you to identify and let go of what's going on in your mind that's living in your body that you may not realize. So in your masterclass workbook for day one homework, you will find the link to download the meditation. So do it after we wrap here today, and then do it each day for the next 7 days of the workshop. Now, also today, I'm giving you what we call a thought exercise to do tonight. So a thought exercise, it's like a journaling exercise to help you get better acquainted and aware of your thinking. I do them all the time with the singers in our flagship intensive training program. Those of you guys who are here, Warren, Diane, I see Jennifer's here, Maria's here, they know how essential and how the thought exercises can be. And so it's a very powerful tool to help you gain new awarenesses about what's been going on for you, both on stage and off, that's affecting you in ways that you might not otherwise realize. So tonight's thought exercise is for mind-body clarity. It's about mind-body clarity connection. So you're going to do your meditation. I recommend doing the meditation first before you do the thought exercise, because that's going to help you get very present to your body and very present to witnessing your body and witnessing your thoughts. And then you'll do the thought exercise. And like I said, the meditation is something you'll do each day this week. It is not a one and done kind of thing, okay? We condition the mind-body connection by conditioning our ability to stay present. And the meditation, you guys, meditation is the best and the fastest way to condition that connection. And so if you've been with us in prior workshops, do not get sucked into the mindset of, oh, I already know this. I've done this before. I know this. And then skip it. No, do it again. Think about it this way, guys. Go deeper this time. Approach the thought exercise and the meditation from a new intention, from where you are now. Because we're talking about creating new neural pathways here that link mind and body, and that requires conditioning. So if you've done this before, do it again. And if you're new to it, be curious. Dive in with curiosity. So everyone, do both the meditation and the thought exercise tonight. And then you're going to do the meditation each day this week. And then you're going to post in the Facebook group to celebrate your accountability so that I can celebrate you and your fellows can celebrate you. So after you've done both of them, post a little GIF in our Facebook group, did the meditation. And if you also did the thought exercise, same thing. And if you'd like to share what your experience with it has been like, I love that, how it's going. You can also post if you have questions so that we can support you. So start to use the community, use the Facebook community to celebrate your accountability to these new tools that you're being given. Let's see. About the homework. I get so I said you can find it in the Masterclass workbook. And so we have some time now for Q&A, but I'd like to focus the Q&A on the idea of mindset and the topics that we've discussed today. If you have other questions about vocal health, about career choices, about technique, whatever, we're going to get into a lot of that this week. So I guarantee you your questions will probably be answered before you even need to ask them. But we also do like an entire Q&A implementation day on Sunday where we have a lot of that. So if you have a question that I haven't answered, jot it down and we will definitely get to it on the Q&A day. But for right now, I'd like to open it up to Q&A specifically about these topics around mindset, mind-body connection, tension, the things that we've been talking about today. So if you have a question, use the raise hand function. Like I said, it's in reactions at the bottom of the Zoom screen. It's a little heart, and you can tap it and you can raise hand. Anybody have questions for today? I don't know. I see Jack's hand in the reaction up. I don't know, Jack, if that was from earlier or if you have a question. Oh, I think he took it down. Okay. Yes, Tina.
Hello.
Hi. Come on
So,
camera.
shall I put I think I have a weird background in here. Oh my God. Ignore my background. I put that sometime when I was in the car. Hi. So, about the tension stuff, I don't know where to start. So I've performed in this really fancy hotel every week for a couple of years, and it was piano and vocals. And when I grew up, I was always impressed, and that's how I started singing was by big vocals like Whitney Houston and Celine Dion and things like that. And I've developed quite a strong voice. And um, I was trying, but my dad always came in and said I should be quiet, because he was working. And so it was kind of bothering him. So I feel like I subconsciously have started feeling like I should not be letting my voice out. And in this situation, in these kinds of gigs, you cannot really belt out a song. Um, and so I had all these situations where my entire back would cramp up and I would even get vocal tension here. I do not have usually a problem with vocal tension when I perform. I feel like my voice is flowing pretty well. But in those situations, I'm just trying to figure out whether it is because I'm not supposed to do those kinds of shows, or it's a thought, a flaw in my thinking, or something like that.
Yeah. So first of all, I thank you for asking that. I think it's a great question. I think a lot of people are relating in the chat. Um, there's a couple things you've mentioned that I think are all playing. They're all playing in with each other and creating this like perfect storm in this hotel gig, right?
Mm.
So first of all, here's a question for you. What would happen if you actually let your voice do what you want to do and have that like those moments that feel so good to you? Like what is the story that your mind is telling you would happen if you did that in that
They
gig?
did come a couple of times and asked me to turn it down. It was more about my piano play actually, but I was trying to, and I had to adjust my set list a little bit, but I was trying to be more background, but it was a very stingy, very, you know, kind of high-end plays, and they wanted you to kind of blend in. It's interesting because when I stand up and I'm being a singer with a pianist, they let me sing. But when I am playing piano, they want me to be wallpaper.
Okay.
And it was difficult because it's difficult to do when you are a singer to be like wallpaper. It's much easier to be when you're just a piano player. So I feel like I've gotten really shy about it, and then I kind of tensed up everywhere and I didn't really know how to handle it.
Yeah. So what's interesting is when you mentioned that like you only get the tension when you feel like you're trying to keep yourself quiet. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that must have been the reason. And I also
Okay.
pull up my shoulders and kind of hiding
Right.
because.
So there's two things, like I was saying, there's two things going on here. And you guys, it's always two things. There's only ever two dials to tweak. There's the dial of your skill set, which is your technique. And then there's the dial of your mindset, your psychology. Okay. There's only ever two dials. But what I hear is that your psychology is saying, okay, I need to be quieter because I need to be background here. And that's what they've hired. And that's what I'm supposed to do. So, okay. But what I also hear is that your technique does not know how to do soft singing without tension.
Yeah, I do know that. I feel like I constantly just feel like I am bothering people, which
Ah,
is weird because they hired me to sing.
yeah. And so your whole body, but you guys get how this thought is causing this whole spiral of reaction in her body to
Right,
shut down and not be able to use the technique that she otherwise would know how to do.
right.
And so in these circumstances, we have two choices. We can only tweak these are the only dials that we have to tweak, right? And so if you don't want to experience all of that, and this is old, this is historic, because like you mentioned, you have an experience of a family member telling you, you're too loud, you're bothering me. And so
Hmm.
there's a trigger. There's also a trigger there, right? But
Yeah.
I also understand that from what you're saying, you do know how to sing softly and not get vocally tired and not feel like there's tension all around your body. And so, what could you be willing to believe in that moment at the hotel that would allow you to just stay on your technique and not feel like you were wrong, bad, a problem, a bother? What could you be willing to believe? Just throw some ideas out there.
I feel like if I stop trying and please everybody and just be in the moment and focus on just keeping it under a certain volume, that that helps.
Perhaps, but also thinking about it this way, guys, right? Because if we're trying to please other people, right? Like, I know you guys know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. We cannot control people, places, and things. We
Yeah.
can't, you know? And yet, when we're trying to please the audience, the casting director, the hotel manager, whoever, right? It sets up so much anxiety within us because what we're doing is we've set up this belief, this expectation that if I do it right, if I do it perfect, if I do it the way they want, if I do it, you name it, any one of those things, then I can control what they think of me. But the truth is, guys, we can't. You cannot control what somebody else thinks of you at all. But our ego mind, our what I call the monkey mind, it's lying to us and it's telling us that if I'm just perfect, if I do it right, if I do whatever it's telling you, the lie it's telling you, if I'm just XYZ, if I look a certain way, if I do it a certain way, then I can control what they think of me. But you are set up to fail when that happens because you fundamentally cannot control what somebody else thinks of you. And so now you're trying to do something that is impossible, and that creates anxiety.
Yeah.
And the anxiety lives, like you were saying, in your shoulders, and now it affects how you're able to use or not use your instrument because of all the tension and the strain. So the question, it goes back to proving, right? So the question is, what if you had nothing to prove? What if either way you win? What if you go in there and you allow yourself to be, like you said, in the present moment with yourself? Because I guarantee you, when you're singing in the shower, you're not all, maybe sometimes, but for the most part, you're just doing what you're doing, you know? Put yourself in the shower, play around, get curious, experiment with what it could be like to be enough for yourself in that moment because it's not about them anymore.
Hmm.
And either way, you win because you will get data because you cannot continue to sing with this amount of tension. If you're an experienced singer, you know that that is what creates vocal injury if you do it over
Yep.
time.
100%.
And so either you're going to get the data that, oh wow, cool, I'm able to do this and I'm in the background and I can pick up a paycheck and do it just fine. Or you're going to get the data that it doesn't work that way and they don't like it in which case you shouldn't be there.
Yep.
Right? But again, that's mindset, because when we're not really doing the things at the level that we really want to do them, we tend to just take what we are given, and it's like, what's the saying? Picking up scraps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Settling for scraps. And I'm just so grateful for the scraps, when really, maybe you're not meant for scraps.
Mhm.
And so that's okay. Either way, you win. Either you're going to figure out that you can do the gig the way that you want without it hurting, or you're going to figure out that you need to be able to be bigger, louder, express more, and that's not okay with them, in which case you go find a gig that is. And then you won't do damage to your instrument.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good question. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I saw somebody else who had said that they had a question. Yeah, and it was Natalia. I saw you said in the chat you had a question. Is Natalia still here?
Yes, I'm here. Hi. Can you see me? I turned on my.
There you are.
Yes, here I am. Hi. Thank you so much for for this opportunity. So I've been listening and just feel a little bit out of sync, I guess, with everybody because I have a different situation. So I am, strictly speaking, not a singer in the sense that I don't think I have a great voice. I have a voice, but I love to sing. I just love it. And over the years, I've had several teachers and took some online classes. The problem is that each, every single one of them, the teachers, they started with telling me that what the other one did was all wrong. So they're going to teach me the right way. And so we're ended up now, so I'm 48 already, and find myself in a place where it seems like I can't sing at all. I just even, I don't know how. I don't know. I mean, and like just feeling myself like this uh ball of tension all over, just whenever I open my mouth, it's just like, ah, I can't. And I can relate to the whatever you say about the vicious circle, I guess what you call it, because it's where my mind goes is, well, I remember this failure and this failure, and that was horrible, and that was terrible, and that's going to happen again. And no matter how much you try to say, well, I'm gonna, the positive thinking, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna do this. You fail. And like I told you, you knew that was gonna happen. So why you keep trying, keep trying? And there were um, several instances where I just thought, well, not doing it again. I'm just not gonna do this again because I don't want to put myself through this, heartbreak and humiliation and stuff like that. And like I said, it's like I'm not really like I said, I'm not a great singer. I just love it. I love it. I love my guitar. I love singing. I love singing in church and for my friends and for my family. I just love, and I want to be able to do that freely. Whatever God gave me, whatever. I mean, I don't have a great voice. Like, the previous girl said, I've got a strong voice. No, that's not me. I don't. But
wait,
I just want to.
wait, time out.
Okay. What
Okay.
I'm saying, I just want to.
Hold on.
Okay.
Because the language that we use to talk to ourselves around these things matters.
Okay.
Because body is responding to it, whether you realize it or not. So what I said in response to you said, I'm not a good singer, and I said, yet. That is a huge.
I'm 48. I'm 48. It just seems like, oh my gosh, it's just too late now.
I'm 48. Okay. And
okay.
Seriously. So, but you guys, I'm really glad that you're bringing this up today, Natalia, because
okay. Okay, I'm sorry, just the one last thing. And so why I decided to attend this is what you said in your video, like you've been taught wrong. And like it's me. It's me, I
Hold on,
like
Natalia, that's a belief.
okay.
That's a belief. It's just a story that your mind has been telling you. Okay. And we're going to do a lot of work on belief and mindset over the course of this week. We're going to do technique too. Like I said, it's two dials and they have to be equally strong. You know what I'm saying? But if she if Natalia has the belief, it's me, it's all me, it's my fault, I'm not really going to be good enough. It sounds to me, Natalia, like you've already decided on the one hand that you can't do it, that you're never going to be good enough, that you're, not talented enough, that you don't have what it takes. So on the one hand, you've already decided that. If you go back and I'm going to just lovingly point this out to you because
Okay, sure. Yeah,
we've
sure.
all done this. We've all done this. You're not the only one who's done this, okay? But when you go back and you watch the replay of this, I want you to rewind and I want you to listen to what you said, and I want
Okay.
you to like notice how many times you were in a space of I can't, not good enough, not worthy enough, not enough. Okay. So there's the experience that has created that. But on the
Yeah.
other, there's also this experience, I don't know if you guys pick this up, where she lights up and she's like, I love singing. I want to connect. I want to do this, right? So Natalia, you guys, what Natalia is doing is she's calling it in and she's pushing it away at the same time.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
got one foot in two canoes. If you imagine two different canoes, you got your foot in the canoe that's like, I really want to do this. I love singing. I know I have this in me. This is something that I'm passionate about. This is something that inspires me. And then you have your other foot in the canoe that's like, I'm never going to be good enough. I can't do it. My voice is not good. All the things that you said. What happens to somebody who's got one foot in two canoes? Can either canoe go anywhere? Right, exactly. Right. And so here's what I want to tell you guys, which is that there are multiple truths in a situation. And like, so is it true that you had a lot of different teachers who confused the crap out of you and who made you feel like you could never do this because you never had the foundation or the stability that gave you that confidence? Is that true? Yeah, that's true. Is it also true that you're in a scenario where people, okay, a lot of you in this group, some of you have come to many of these, have worked with me before, have done intensive training program. Those of you who are 50 plus, especially if you've done the program, Amy DeLuca, Marie Levin, Diane Devati, Jennifer White, Warren Shear, every single one of these people, Natalia, is over 50. Okay. And not only that, they're doing it professionally. Marie tours around the world or around the country doing Reba tribute shows. Amy quit her day job at an HR, is making full-time living as a singer. They're even doing it professionally and they're older than you. Okay. So both are true, but only one serves what you really want. So we can focus on the truth that doesn't serve, or we can focus on the truth that does. Because either way, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. And when we speak about the negative feedback loop, I understand why you relate to that, because you go to sing it, you've been trying to get training, it hasn't been working for you, you're not getting the results that you want, and now you think it's all you, and you think that you're not good enough and that you can't do it, and so it makes you not want to try again, and it makes you scared to put yourself out there because maybe it won't work, and what if I invest my time and my money and my energy and it doesn't work and I'm disappointed again? I get it. And this is the feedback loop that a lot of singers find themselves in. But the problem with that is that mind is looking for a guarantee. And here's the thing. I can't guarantee you that you're gonna, go out there and succeed because I don't know you yet, you know what I mean? What I can guarantee you is that if you do nothing, you will stay where you are.
Yeah.
Right. And so
that's right. You're right.
And so it's being able to look, and this is why we're doing the meditations today, guys. First thing, right, is to learn how to witness the present moment of the body and the mind, to be able to witness the thought that comes in that says, well, I don't sing well. And then be like, well, wait a second. Arden said, yet. Right? To be able to witness all the thoughts that you're telling yourself that are, by the way, just lies. They're just lies. They're lies that our ego minds have come up with to try to keep us safe, to try to keep us from feeling disappointed, from frustrating, from failing, from feeling less than. But when we recognize that they're just lies, you mentioned your age 7 times. We're the same age. And in your mind, your mind goes, but that's too old to do this. And my mind goes, you still have 40 years that you could go out and sing beautifully and have a great time and be inspired and live your passion. My mind, just like we were talking about meaning, right? My mind makes 48 mean one thing. Your mind makes 48 mean another thing. But what we learn in mindset work is that you guys, you get to choose. You get to choose your emotional home and the meaning that you want to give things. It's the Shakespeare quote, "'Tis nothing neither bad nor good, 'tis thinking makes it so." We're the same age. I make it mean one thing, your mind makes it mean another thing. But the beauty is you can change your mind. If we start to witness and notice the stories that don't serve us, the old beliefs that don't serve us, the lies that we've been telling ourselves, the excuses we've been giving ourselves. And when we're able to witness that without judgment, and that's the key, guys, without judgment. Like I said to Hannah a minute ago, it's just data. Just gonna get data. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're just looking at what is. There's no make wrong here. There's no make bad here. It's just, wow, that's what I've been telling myself. Wow, I can see how that's been making me feel kind of bad or holding me back or keeping me small. And so you guys, that's what the thought exercise tonight is going to be really good at helping you get some clarity around what's going on in mind and body by helping to mirror back some of the things that maybe you didn't notice by just journaling and answering these questions. And learning to start to witness your thoughts, and meditation is a great way to practice witnessing. Okay. So what I do want to let you know, Natalia, is like I feel you, and there are a lot of people out there who can call themselves expert voice teachers. Unfortunately, there's no certification, there's no governing organization, and so unfortunately, there's a lot of bad information out there that's not rooted in science and physiology. And as we get into technique stuff, guys, more technique stuff over the course of the next few days, you'll hear me say this a bunch, which is, guys, it's just anatomy. Guys, it's just physics. Like we were talking about the idea of physics, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just changes everything. That it's just science. And unfortunately, not all voice teachers are created equal. And they are the victims of the bad system that they perpetuate because they were not taught. They were not taught these things. And so I don't blame them. They're just teaching what they know. But unfortunately, they've been the victim of the same broken system. And so we're here to step into a completely different paradigm of training. And I'm so glad you're here. And I'm so glad it's okay that you're not wanting to do this professionally. I can hear that you're serious about it, though, and that it matters to you. And that you're very passionate about it, which means that you belong here, too. So thank you.
I am very hopeful. Thank you very much. Looking forward to tomorrow.
All right, guys. So get on it. Go make sure that you download the meditation. Do it tonight. Do your thought exercise. Post in the Facebook group to celebrate your accountability that you did the work for tonight. And get here tomorrow right on time. And we're going to work on some technique innovations. So excited to see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.